After years of trying to save my marriage, I thought catching my husband with another woman would be the end of it. But nothing could have prepared me for the way he would abuse me with his mistress, or for the unexpected ally who showed up to fix it. I didn't know a marriage could end like this, but my husband, Logan, decided to make a public spectacle out of this disaster. If only I'd known what he was capable of, maybe I would have seen it coming. Let me rewind a bit. I'd been married to Logan for 5 years now, and let's just say the fairy tale part of that marriage didn't last very long. It started out well, and we were really together. But problems came and our attempts to conceive took a bigger toll on our relationship than I initially thought. My mental health took a turn for the worse and I felt like a complete failure. Meanwhile, Logan began to withdraw into himself instead of supporting me. He seemed more interested in finding himself, which apparently meant going to the gym and buying a fast car. I doubted everything about myself. I blamed my body for not being able to get pregnant. But I never thought. Anyway, last night my best friend Lola convinced me to get out of the house to clear my head and have some fun. My husband told me he was going to be at the gym late, so we headed to a cozy jazz club downtown with dim lighting and great music, but not so loud that you couldn't have a conversation. The mood in the club was perfect for a little distraction. Lola had me laughing and in a good mood, when suddenly she went silent. Her eyes bulged, looking somewhere over my shoulder. "Natasha. I don't want to scare you, but, is this Logan?" A cold fear filled my body. You could call it a woman's intuition, or you could call it what I saw in her face. But I knew what I would see as soon as I turned around. Sitting at a corner table, I saw my husband with a young woman with her arm around his shoulders. She was giggling, and he leaned over and whispered something in her ear. I had never experienced anything like this, not even during my college relationships. So I never thought I would be a woman who could make a scene. But my body moved on its own. In the blink of an eye, I was right at their table, and my outburst made them both jump. "Logan, are you serious?" I snapped. My husband looked up, confused and scared for a second. But soon I saw relief cross his face, and, worst of all, his expression turned into a grin. "Natasha, finally," he said with a goofy grin on his face. The girl next to him, Brenda, smiled back and looked at me like she'd won. "Logan," I tried to speak, not even knowing what to say, but he cut me off. "Listen, Natasha. It's better if you know. I don't have to hide it any longer," he said casually. "I love someone else. It's over between us. It's over. Just like that. No hesitation. No remorse." I wanted to scream, to cry, to punch him in his smug face, but I just stood there, frozen. Suddenly Lola took my hand, muttering something about Logan regretting this one day, and led me outside. I didn't even notice how she drove my car straight to her house until she sat me down on her bed, where I finally broke down. The next morning, having barely slept, I decided to go home and meet him. Maybe he would come to his senses. But when I drove up to our house, the sight I saw seemed to me like a rediscovery of his betrayal. All my things were lying on the front lawn, scattered like they were trash. Clothes, picture frames, even my old college textbooks, just thrown out without a thought. And he was standing on the porch with Brenda next to him, smiling like he'd just won the lottery. I got out of the car, feeling numb, and walked slowly toward them. Logan got straight to the point. "I don't think I need to remind you that this house belongs to my grandfather and you have no rights to it," he chuckled while my face remained impassive. "You're leaving. Take your things and leave. Now." I stood there, completely frozen, as his words sank in. Not only had he cheated on me and dumped me, but he had also kicked me out of my own home. And the worst part? He looked like he was enjoying every second of it. Still, I tried to keep my composure. There was no way I could give him the satisfaction of seeing me break down. So I just started packing my things, stuffing clothes and random objects into the trunk of my car. But the humiliation burned deep inside me. Instead of going into the house like Logan, Brenda stayed on the porch and watched me. She couldn't even hide her amusement. When I looked up, she decided to add insult to injury. "I can't wait to redo this house," she sighed happily, crossing her arms. "Everything here is so old and ugly." My face remained blank. As I loaded my things into the car, I tried to remember what of my things might still be in the house. It was a simple sedan, so I definitely needed another ride. I hoped Lola wouldn't mind me staying with her for a while. But while I was pondering these questions, so as not to show any emotion and lose my temper again, I heard it, a car rumbled behind me. I turned around and there, stepping out of a sleek black BMW, was Mr. Duncan, Logan's grandfather. And he looked confused. Everyone in town knows that Mr. Duncan can be tough. He built his family fortune from nothing. So he had high expectations of all his children and grandchildren. At first I thought that being a daughter-in-law in this family would be difficult because of him. But for reasons unknown to me, he treated me wonderfully from the very beginning. He loved me along with his grandson. And yet I was afraid of what would happen as he took in the scene with my things on the lawn, the strange woman on the porch, and Logan nowhere to be seen. "Logan, baby, come out here," Brenda called worriedly. At the sound of her voice, Mr. Duncan frowned at first. Then his expression changed from confusion to pure anger. "What the hell is going on here?" Mr. Duncan's voice boomed as Logan stepped outside with his mouth open. "Grandpa, we had no idea you were coming today," he began, swallowing hard. "This is not a good time. We're dealing with a personal matter. You wouldn't understand." "Logan, I may be old, but I know exactly what's going on," Mr. Duncan replied in his deep voice. "I only asked because I didn't want to believe my eyes." "Grandpa," Logan tried, but couldn't get the words out. "It seems you've thrown my beloved daughter-in-law out of the house and are having sex with that tramp. Am I getting this wrong?" Mr. Duncan continued sharply, and I felt uneasy at his insults to Brenda. "Grandpa, Natasha and we're done. She doesn't belong here anymore." "And who gave you the right to decide that?" Mr. Duncan's eyebrows rose. He glanced at me tenderly for a moment, then looked back at Logan. "Let me remind you that this house is mine. I let you live here because you were starting a family, and you were starting a family together," he continued. "But if you're going to treat Natasha like she's disposable, you can consider yourself gone. Now." Logan's face went pale. What are you saying?" Mr. Duncan didn't even blink. "I'm saying Natasha stays and you go. And not only that, but as of today, I'm ceasing to exist for you. Consider all my money and support gone. You think you can do this? Disrespect your wife and make our family look bad because of some midlife crisis and a 20-year-old gold digger? Not in front of me. Grandfather. Leave now." Once Logan and Brenda had left, Mr. Duncan led me into the house and told me why he had come in the first place. "Natasha, I heard from my son about your and Logan's fertility problems and I came here to offer to pay for IVF." "Oh, sir," I stammered, my emotions finally coming out. "But it seems I arrived just in time to see this disaster instead." "You don't deserve any of this," he continued, and I almost couldn't cope with his kindness. I swallowed the lump in my throat. "Thank you, Mr. Duncan." I didn't know what to do, so I just started putting the car together. He placed a reassuring hand on my shoulder, shaking his head. "That's not necessary. Consider this house yours. I'll do all the paperwork and make it official. This is also my apology for not raising a better grandson." I nodded, tears streaming down my eyes. In the days that followed, Mr. Duncan made good on his word. My name was on paper, and Logan was cut off from his family's money and support. I heard that Brenda didn't stay in the house long when she realized the bank accounts were closed and Logan was apparently holed up on a friend's couch. It must have been a blow to his pride, because he came crawling back just a week after that scene in my yard. He was wearing the same clothes he had on that day and looked terrible. I made a mistake. I have nothing left. The rest of my family won't help me. Could you call my grandfather? He'll listen to you, Logan said bluntly. I can't live like this. There was no apology in his words, no genuine remorse for what he had done to me. He only regretted losing his family's money and influence. And then I said the words that every person in my situation wants to say. No. You made your bed, get into it. It was banal and cruel, but believe me, at that moment it felt so good. His expression instantly changed to one of anger, and before he could hurl more insults at me, I slammed the door in his face. I could still hear him screaming, but his words reached me in the thrill of this retribution. Maybe I'll feel sorry for him later. But what did he expect? The titled brat. Write in the comments what would you have done and subscribe to our channel D-Damn Mix.